All right, we're back with more Ralph Waldo Emerson's on Man and God. We didn't make it too far in the first video, but we did have some good points to talk about. So we're going to pick up. We're definitely not going to get through all of these excerpts. We'll read through a couple more of them, share a couple more thoughts, and that'll be it. There's just so much you can talk about in a book. That's probably why they have book clubs. There's a lot you could talk about just interpreting someone's book. And what I like to do is share my thoughts on it. Because if you go and read the book, anyone can interpret the book, right? If you read it, you're going to interpret it. I want to share my thoughts so that it's going to help people get further. Because if we all share our thoughts with each other, well, you're going to get a lot further than, just your own way of thinking. Not that you need to agree with my thoughts, but at least hearing someone else's thoughts may open your mind, because if you only listen to yourself, you better hope you're in the right mindset. Because if you don't listen to other people and you're not thinking right, well, you're not really going to progress too far in the right direction. How about let's try page 11. Let's see where that... Okay. Okay. I conceive a man as always spoken to from behind, and unable to turn his head and see the speaker. In all the millions who have heard from the voice, none ever saw the face. As children in their play run behind each other, and to seize one by the ears, and to make him walk before them, so is the spirit of our unseen pilot. That reminded me of the footprints in the sand. The times you thought you were walking alone, you were being carried. The times you hear the voice, it's always behind your back. It's always somewhere deep inside of you. Whether it's, maybe I shouldn't go on that drive today. Maybe I should do this. Maybe it's a thought. Like so many thoughts I've had, ways of thinking, developing my mindset. Anytime I think I'm pretty good, I find a whole new branch of ways I could develop. And even just the fact of when I get to the point where I think I'm pretty good, even to get to that point, I don't know how I do it other than that voice from God, right? You may listen to other people, you may read books, but when you sit down just by yourself and you develop these intricate thoughts, it makes me wonder how that's even possible. Because then I'll go out and watch a video, I'll read a book, I'll hear a speaker, and I'll go, how did I develop that way of thinking before I even heard them say it? Right? How all these thoughts do I have? I've thought of it before I've heard it from someone else. And that's what we were going along with in the first part of the video, is that you have that voice inside of you. It's great to read books and use all these people as inspiration and to further your learning. But the emphasis, I'm not going to go into it like I did in the first video, because I just kept talking about that and being authentic. But I'll make that point one more time, is that you have more power inside of you than what you may know. You have thoughts and you have messages and ideas that are authentic to yourself and that hold truths in the world. And if you take time to listen to it and listen to your soul and your heart and what you believe in, it may be the next big thing. It may correlate with what other people have. It may be something other people haven't thought of yet. So I would urge you guys, whether it's talking with people around you, talking with yourself, try and develop your guys' own authentic ideas And that's why things I've thought of, I wish I would have known 10 years ago. And I think if someone else hasn't thought of that yet, why don't I at least share it? So with you, you may have an idea that no one's thought of yet, or no one's thought of it in the way that you explain it, because that has a lot of truth to it too. That's why I love reading books, because there's a lot of ideas I know, there's a lot I don't know, but there's a lot I know that they twist it in a different way, or they give it in an example I would have never thought of, but it makes it a clearer picture. And that's why I love sharing my thoughts on what I read, because that may be a way you didn't think of it. Okay. But listen to that voice inside of you and see where it takes you. Because when you start listening, you're going to start realizing all these different things and putting pieces together that you didn't even realize were there. The progress you're going to make, not to make it about yourself, but the progress you're going to make is astronomical compared to what you're doing now. And then looking at other people, it's going to make their lives so much better, because you're going to be able to help them, not only by helping yourself, but sharing the information you know with them and help guide them on their path. Okay. Oh. I'll skip that one. There's so many, I'm going to skip over some. 13-2. I'm going to skip over that. Okay. 14. As a plant upon the earth, so a man rests upon the bosom of God. He is nourished by unfailing fountains, and draws at his need inexhaustible power. Who can set bounds to the possibilities of man? Once inhale the upper air, being admitted to behold the absolute natures of justice and truth, and we learn that man has access to the entire mind of the Creator, is himself the Creator in the finite. I say, I know anytime you start talking about religious ideas, that ruffles a lot of people's feathers. There's another video I talk about that, to at least open your mind to your own psychology behind why you would believe in what you believe in. That passage goes along with the last point we just talked about, that the Creator, God above, where are you getting all these ideas? No matter what you choose to believe in, once again, be authentic to yourself. Take a day where you sit down and think about what you want in life and what direction you want to go. Right? Look inside yourself and see what you find. I'll end that right there, because I don't want to keep going. Any one point you can talk about forever. Right? Anything's as complicated as you want to make it, not in a bad way, but you can look into anything as deep as you want. Oh, let's see. Page 19. The great man knew not that he was great. It took a century or two for the fact to appear. What he did because he must. It was the most natural thing in the world. It grew out of the circumstances of the moment. But now, everything he did, even to the lifting of his finger or the eating of bread, looks large, all related, and is called an institution. I really liked that one, because so many times in my own life, I begin to lose consciousness. True. I begin to lose confidence, and you can call it faith in what I'm doing. And I'm not saying we're all going to be these great things that everyone's going to look at every little action you did. But look at all these people who accomplished great things. If you look from the beginning, we talked in another book that if you would have looked at where they're at now, it's similar to where I'm at. It's similar to where you're probably at, or it could be worse off. You look at some of the, I'm not going to say great, because everyone has their different opinions. If you look at very powerful people in the world or who accomplished great things, they started in the garage. They started in the basement. They were homeless. They were bankrupt. They had bad things done to them, bad childhoods, lost family. They were alone. Or maybe they had everything. Everything you could dream of, they already had. And the point I'm saying is that it's no different than where any of you are at right now. Because whether you have nothing or you have everything, or you feel like you have a negative amount, there's been people in that exact same circumstances. And then you look at their come up story and where they ended. And when you see where they're ended, that's when you look back at all the things they did. But if you would have looked at any point before they accomplished the great thing they did, you may have had doubt in them. And I'm sure at times they had doubt in themselves. And that's why you need to keep pushing. I always say keep pushing, but it's one of those things you just have to do. Whether you're happy, you're sad, you're motivated, discipline's always going to come out on top. Persistence, resilience, never to give up. And when this was talking about the great man knew not that he was great, it took a century or two for that fact to appear. Remember that about you. It may not be a century. People may not remember me in 100 years. Maybe it's 5 days later before they think about a message I said. Maybe it's a year later before they realize the nice thing you did for them, right? You held the door open for them and they think about a month later, no one else has ever held the door open for me. People decide what's big for them. We all have these images constructed in our heads from what we see on Instagram or YouTube or Facebook, X, right? There's so many things we have put into our head. But like I said in the last video, follow your heart. Stay authentic to yourself. Don't get these images in your head of what other people are happy doing. Because they're happy doing it doesn't mean you're going to be happy doing it. It may be something they love doing, and you may want to feel that emotion they're feeling. But you're never going to get that if that's not true to yourself. Stay working towards what you believe in and what you believe in your heart you should be doing. And never trust someone else's idea of what you should be doing. Listen to their points, right? Whether it's good or bad, listen to it and use that to grow. But just because someone says you shouldn't be doing something doesn't mean it's true. I love the Henry Ford quote when he says, if I would have asked people what they wanted, they would have told me a faster horse. People may not realize what your vision is. They may not realize what they want. But if you have that thought in your head and you have the drive to push through and create that force, that car that's going to keep driving forward, then you go out and do it and don't let anyone stop you. So it may take them time. It may take them 5 years. It may take them a century. But if you stay true to yourself and authentic, and when they come to realize it, then they may start following you, right? Then they may go, wow, I want to start doing that. I want to start doing this. You can't trust people's minds. You can't trust your own mind. You got to trust your heart. Because sometimes your mind wants to keep you in a safe zone. Think primitively, right? You're trying to stay safe. Why would my body ever want to get out of the comfort zone when it's safe doing what it's doing right now? You got to push the boundaries and really go for what you want. So I'm just going to call it there. There's a lot of great things in the books. All these books I've read, there's a lot of great information. And you just want to get the wheels turning in your head. It's never bad to have too much information, right? Whether it's someone telling you it, whether it's you reading, because the more information you have, the more you can choose from. But if you never open your mind to new thoughts, then you better have hoped you're in the right mindset. Because a closed mindset, it's never going to be good, because no matter how well off I thought I was, there's always a next level. And when you realize that, it's going to make you eager to grow, to even figure out what that next level is. You know, when you think there's no way I know I can grow, but where's this next direction going to take me? Because all I know is right now. This is all I know. And then when you discover it, it's just like, all right, let's start pushing towards that to achieve that level of intellect, or that level of growth, you know, that type of mindset of how I should be acting. And then you're back at the starting block. I wonder what's going to come next. So things have a compounding effect. No matter how old you are, you still have minutes, days, months, years to live. See where it will take you and see what you're going to learn. See what mindset you're going to develop. Don't stay where you're at. I mean, no matter how fun it is, it can always be funner. No matter how smart you are, you can always be smarter. On the other hand, you can always be dumber, right? You can always be worse off. So stay vigilant, you know, what's going on around you. Set yourself up for success, whether it's, you know, in life, with yourself, with those around you. But never stop pushing. It's never going to get easier, you know, because as you progress, the things that used to be hard will get easier. But because those got easier, now you're going to be doing even harder things. You're always going to be pushing yourself more and more. And that's how it should be. So that was Ralph Waldo Emerson on Man and God. The book's pretty sweet. It's full of excerpts, and it's a leather jacketed book. So I like that. All right, that's all I got.